Hello, welcome back to another video. I thought I'd do something a little different this time. Um, I just thought I'd shift away from the front end mentor challenges and just have a go at some of the sort of front end dev games that are out there. A lot of them are pretty good for beginners to grasp the concepts such as Flexbox grid, a lot of CSS stuff, and then when you start venturing into JavaScript, there's some good platforms and games out there to experiment with. But today I'm going to try Flexbox Froggy. I've played it in the past when I first started out. It's a fun little way to just learn the basics of Flexbox. And if you haven't already, I'd highly suggest this complete guide to Flexbox. It's a really good a resource for learning everything you need to know about Flexbox. I'll link that down in the description. But hey, let's just get to it. I'm just gonna do every level. There's 24 of them. Hopefully I don't go too fast or too slow. Um, but yeah. So the first one is justify content. And the thing about justify content and align items, it's always hard to remember which axis it's on, depending on what flex direction it is. So with this standard display flex, the justify content is on the x-axis. So if you go flex end, he's right there. But if the flex direction was column, it would be on the y-axis, so flex end would go down the bottom. So it basically swaps with align items. So if I do align items, that'll go down the bottom there. But we'll just do justify content. Get to the next one. This is the same thing, just centered. And they're going to get progressively harder and they're going to start adding different elements. Um, this one's a good one. So there's two different ways to space in justify content. Space between and space around. Actually, I think that's three. I think space evenly is one. Yeah, space evenly as well. Same thing. This one may be space evenly. No, it's not. So now we're going to get into align items. So basically, this is what we just did. Just instead of justify content, it's align items. So they're going to go on the y-axis as opposed to the x-axis. And now we're going to use both. So this is actually a good way to center items in the middle of the page. It's actually what I tend to use as my technique um, to center a div or a container in the middle of the website. I pretty much use it for most of my websites. I'll add it to the bodies just so it's everything centered and aligned. Guess this one's a little bit different. So if you remember, align items is on the y-axis for this. So we're going to get it down there. And then this one is probably space around. Yeah. So space around adds a buffer or padding on each um, item using the border, and then space between stretches and basically for the full width of the container. Now we're going to get into flex direction, and I'm assuming this is row reverse, so they're reversing their elements. Yeah. And now we're getting into columns there. Now we're getting a little bit more interesting. We're going to use multiple things. Um, flex direction reverse, and then justify content. Uh, I assume it's flex start. Justify content. Interesting. Flex end. Oh, because it's reverse, it's flex end. Yeah, yeah. There we go. That's another thing. It's you do start to forget a lot of the basics. You don't use them enough. So this is flex direction column. So yeah, this is one of those times where you have to note that the axis swap when you change the flex direction. As it says here, um, yeah, justify content changes the vertical and align changes the horizontal or the x-axis. Another column, actually column reverse, and then justify content space between. Yeah. Okay, we're using multiple things here. Flex direction, row reverse, justify content, flex end, no center. Yeah, it's swapped. And then align items, flex end. Yeah, so they're introducing align items now, which, yeah, as it says, aligns the flex items along the cross axis. Sort of like, oh wait, yeah, never mind. We've been using that. Okay, so now we've got order. So we are changing the order in which the items are displayed by targeting a specific one. Um, so this is also like getting into index um, sort of concepts, which you'll eventually get into for JavaScript. But basically, it's just targeting this yellow one and adding one to the index, and then pushing the other one back. Um, and we'll talk about that in lot later in the videos when we start doing JavaScript. So now we're going to go the other way. Yep. So align self is pretty much not self-explanatory, but what you can imagine is it's aligning that specific item as opposed to a whole stack of items, or the whole container, I guess. So this one's going to be interesting. Okay, then cool. Okay, now we got wrap. So flex wrap is good for responsiveness, um, in terms of mobile and different screen sizes. Especially for flex, it's good to as the screen gets bigger or wider, like it. See, like that, it uses Flexbox, Flex Wrap in this to sort of just adjust the content as it gets smaller or larger. This is using direction as well. And honestly, they're going to get a little bit hard at the moment, like right now. So we're going to use flex flow, which basically combines flex direction and flex wrap. Um, and I think this one's column wrap. Yeah. And you can do reverse, pretty much every other, yeah, every sort of value that you can use in either or can be used for this. And this one is going to be on content. Flex start. Flex end. Gonna be probably column reverse. Yeah. Align content center. Now this one. So we have what, 3 lines to use. So I assume it's wrap and column reverse. Um, line content center. No. So justify content center. And then reverse. There's a reverse here somewhere. Hmm. Oh, I think it's wrap reverse. Yeah. And then line content. There we go. That was a tricky one. That one, yeah, took a little bit, but as you can see, wrap reverse was really the one that helped that um, get to where we wanted it to be. But yeah, that's the end of Flexbox Froggy. It's very fun way to learn things. I think next time I'll try Grid Garden. That's just another way to do CSS grid. Yeah, it's really fun as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the switch up of content to something a little bit more light and fun. And yeah, I'll include the links down the bottom so you can play this and try it yourself. And yeah, let me know how long it takes you. And I'll see you on the next one.